Sheryl Swoops, she can't not try to light a fire involving Caitlin Clark. She can't just be good. She's trolling Caitlin Clark again, this time by celebrating the arrival of Paige Beckers.
There's a storm brewing in the WNBA, and at the center of it all is a name you've heard 1,000 times this year, Caitlin Clark. But there's another name that keeps popping up, not as a supporter, not even as a neutral voice, but as a persistent critic. That name is Sheryl Swoops, a legend in her own right, but one who just can't seem to let Clark shine without tossing shade from the sidelines. It's not just a difference of opinion, it's a pattern. A relentless, almost obsessive need to downplay, dismiss, or outright discredit Clark's rise. The question is, why?
With that being said, you big dummies, you getting paid now.
Right.
You asked me about Caitlin. If you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that that player set it.
Okay.
Right?
See, this isn't just a basketball beef. It's bigger than stats or records. It's about power, legacy, and control. Swoops isn't just commenting from the peanut gallery. She's making sure her voice is heard loud and clear, even when it's cloaked in subtweets and passive-aggressive stunts. And her latest move? It didn't require a single word, but it screamed volumes. So let's break it all down. Why a Hall of Famer is so pressed about the new face of the WNBA.
We saw her get replaced during the Fever game for the Dallas Wings commentary team last year because of words and the hate she had towards Caitlin Clark. And it was just one thing after another. I said yesterday, even Stephen A. Smith crushed her last year.
You'd think showing up to a podcast would be no big deal. But when Sheryl Swoops walked onto Gilbert Arenas' show wearing a Paige Beckers t-shirt, jaws dropped, and not because she was suddenly standing a rising star. No, this wasn't a show of support. It was a calculated move, a silent message. And everyone knew exactly who it was aimed at, Caitlin Clark.
Because when she comes to the league, regardless of what team she goes to that has vets on that team, she probably ain't gonna get 40 shots a game.
Now, let's be clear. Paige Beckers is a phenomenal player. But the timing, the shirt, the body language, it all pointed to something deeper. Swoops hasn't exactly been a vocal cheerleader for Beckers before. So why now? Why that shirt? Why that moment? Because it wasn't about Paige. It was about throwing shade without having to say a single word. It was subtle. It was strategic. And honestly, it was petty.
While Caitlin is fantastic, and I think she's going to have an incredible career in the WNBA.
Who's going to be the next face of the NBA? We don't get to decide that. The marketplace decides that. The people have chosen Caitlin Clark.
What is she doing wrong? What more do you want from Caitlin Clark? Seriously, what more do you want from her? She's focusing on the game. She lifted her team up, got them to the playoffs, won Rookie of the Year, and then also is denouncing racial tensions when she's asked about it. I'm sorry, I don't see anything more that Caitlin Clark should have done or could have done.
You don't need a press release to start a feud. Sometimes all it takes is cotton and silence. In an era where athletes use fashion to make political and social statements, Swoops used hers to send a very specific message. I support the right kind of rising star, and Clark isn't it. But what makes this move so transparent is the context. We've seen Swoops do this before. This wasn't her first jab, and it definitely won't be her last.
She was remarkable on top of the fact that she had to deal with so much hate when she got to the WNBA.
I can't imagine this young lady, I don't want to use hate, but despised. And people just having, she brought some on herself a little bit because she's cocky for a good reason.
Confident.
And I love that about her. But to watch the dynamics and the media, they had their narrative. And I was pleased and proud to see the narrative wasn't the truth.
It didn't start with a shirt, and it sure didn't end there. Sheryl Swoops has been making jabs at Caitlin Clark long before the rookie ever stepped onto a WNBA court. From offhand comments on social media to undermining interviews and bitter commentary, it's been a steady drip of criticism. Every time Clark's name enters the conversation, Swoops seems to pop up, not to celebrate, but to minimize. It's like she's on a personal mission, not to uplift the next generation, but to gatekeep the spotlight.
It was a stupid decision because it compromises what your ultimate goal is, which is to elevate the WNBA brand.
And this isn't a fan theory. It's documented. Swoops was pulled from a Fever versus Wings broadcast team. Yes, removed. Because her commentary was so openly anti-Clark, it became a liability. It wasn't objective. It wasn't constructive. It was bitter. When a Hall of Famer loses a mic because her shade is louder than her analysis, that's not professionalism, that's personal.
That's what a lot of these women are doing, is they feel like what we have done for this game, this young player has come into our game and she's getting way more respect and all that stuff than we are. As she should. The young girl is a baller. The young girl has people watching because of the way she can shoot this basketball like Steph Curry. Steph Curry can't dunk. Steph Curry don't do none of that in the game. He can probably dunk by himself, but he don't really do none of that in the game. He is a shooter, and fans tune in to see Steph Curry.
Even media giants like Stephen A. Smith had to chime in. When Stephen A. is telling you to tone it down, you know you've crossed a line. His words? This is getting ridiculous. And he was right. Because it's not just analysis anymore. It's agenda. And if you think fans aren't noticing, you're dead wrong.
Wake up and be mad. Never forget, in Swoops' MVP season, she averaged less points, assists, and rebounds than Caitlin Clark's rookie season. Caitlin Clark's rookie year was quite a bit better than Sheryl Swoops' MVP season.
Let's get to the root of it. Insecurity. Caitlin Clark's impact is undeniable. She's breaking rookie records left and right. More assists, more three-pointers, more double-doubles than anyone expected, and that includes Sheryl Swoops' own legendary MVP season. These aren't opinions, they're facts, and that's where the discomfort begins.
Jax, you're absolutely right. And I was like, come on, you big dummies. Is she getting hyped? Yes. But she was in the backyard. She was putting in the same time, sometimes maybe more than you were.
Right.
I can't fault her for what she was given.
So yes, the WNBA was growing before Caitlin Clark. Make that abundantly clear. But it was growing incrementally compared to the exponential growth you're seeing now.
Clark's rookie season didn't just match up to the old legends. It outshined them in ways no one saw coming. And that's not something everyone can handle. For veterans like Swoops, who spent years building the league from the ground up, watching a new player, especially one who doesn't play the political game, get more love, more airtime, more merch sales, that stings. And instead of mentoring, instead of embracing the changing tides, Swoops has opted to push back.
What are you doing? Look at this. Just stays, man. Were y'all talking about Caitlin Clark at this very moment? She knows what she's doing.
But here's the thing. Clark didn't steal anything. She earned it. With every no-look pass, every logo three, every game-saving assist, she earned every bit of praise. It's not about disrespecting the past. It's about recognizing the present. And right now, Clark is the present.
Now, I've got a theory. Oh, look at me. I'm not really racist because I'm wearing the white girl's shirt. You see that? But the girl from the Midwest, y'all just happen to hate her completely.
What really burns Swoops, and others like her, is that Clark refuses to play the game, not basketball. She plays that flawlessly. But the game behind the game, the politics, the expected activism, the legacy approval tours. Clark doesn't do the media dance. She doesn't wear the ideology like a uniform. She just shows up and dominates. And for the WNBA old guard, that's terrifying.
The only problem with this is, and this has been the problem the whole time with the Paige-Caitlin comparison, Paige is an activist basketball player just like these old WNBA players that's been in the league. All right? They're shilling she's all up in all the social stuff. And so that's why they're letting her in. That's why they're cool with her.
The league has long favored players who check certain boxes: socially aligned, politically vocal, safe within the system. Paige Beckers fits that mold, Clark doesn't. And that's the real tension. It's not about race. It's not about skill. It's about control. Clark has it, and the insiders don't know what to do with that.
The reason that Caitlin Clark is getting all of this attention is because she is an anomaly. She is a phenomenal player. And Paige Beckers is also a phenomenal player, but it just isn't the same. She doesn't do the same things. She doesn't do the things that have never been seen.
So when Swoops puts on that shirt, it's not love for Paige. It's code. This is the kind of player we approve of. Meanwhile, Clark is over here leading the league in fan votes, viewership, and record-breaking stats. And doing it all without kissing any rings. That's what makes her so dangerous to the old system.
We want to see Caitlin Clark and we want to see Paige Beckers.
Caitlin scored more points per game, but Paige was more efficient.
Let's not kid ourselves. Paige Beckers deserves better than this. She's an elite player in her own right. But to be dragged into this narrative, used as a weapon in a turf war she didn't ask for? That's not support. That's manipulation. Swoops didn't wear that shirt because she suddenly discovered Bucher's talent. She wore it because Clark was trending, and she needed a symbol.
They enjoy watching her play, her style, her energy, her shot. Whether it's because her game mirrors one of the greatest players in the NBA in Steph Curry or not, I don't know what it is. It's an intangible thing, right? Yes, we can say she's a dog. Okay, there's been other dogs. Okay, she's a great shooter. There's been other great shooters. She has it. She's got the thing.
And for Caitlin Clark to have the awareness to drive the eyeballs there, you have to give her so much credit.
But fans aren't blind. We see it. We've seen it for a while now. The sudden pivot to promoting Paige, right as Clark takes over headlines, isn't subtle. It's transparent. It's like saying, see? I'm not against all young stars, just that one. The message couldn't be clearer. Clark isn't the chosen one, not according to the gatekeepers.
What happened is Caitlin Clark in her sophomore year and really in her junior year just started excelling and doing things that nobody had ever seen a female basketball player do. Like nobody had consistently been shooting these from the logo passes.
And the sad part? This isn't helping Paige. It's cheapening her narrative by turning her into a counterweight to Clark's rise. Let Paige be great for her own reasons. Let Caitlin be great for hers. But don't pretend this shirt was just fashion. It was a subtweet in cotton, and we all read it loud and clear.
There's so many players who cite you as an inspiration for their games, including Caitlin Clark, who's just absolutely a phenomenon in college. What's that next step like for her?
You know, next steps, gosh, in this generation, right? You have, I think, just so many more challenges of how to handle yourself as an adult, right? You go through that whirlwind of being a senior in college, transitioning into the W. And then the next step is how to become just an even better leader. And so much of leadership, I think, is listening and learning. And hopefully the more she can get connected to vets in the league and just different people and coaches and anyone that she can glean wisdom from of how to just continue to learn how to be as a connected and inspiring leader as she can be. And a lot of that is walking the walk and not just talking the talk. So she's already on her way, but, continuing to have fun, continuing to anticipate how people are going to try to stop her and being prepared as she can be for next season.
Caitlin Clark didn't just join the WNBA. She redefined it. In her first season, she did things that hadn't been done in 20 years. Rookie of the Month, multiple times. Player of the Week, triple doubles, historic assist records. She's the fastest player in WNBA history to hit 100 three-pointers. And the fan response? Unmatched. Sold out arenas, viewership surges, jersey sales that broke records. That's not hype, that's dominance.
I remember when the WNBA started. I was thrilled. I was a fan. I couldn't believe it was an opportunity for me, a 5'2", 97-pound girl, to go play professional basketball. That wasn't going to happen for me, but the idea that it existed was special to me. And now she's offering that to not just little girls, but little boys as well. She's spread the fan base.
And still, some legacy voices act like she's just media hype. Really? Because the media didn't shoot those threes. The media didn't drop 20 and 15 on seasoned defenders. Clark did. She showed up, played harder than anyone, and earned everything. But instead of being celebrated, she's criticized for not doing enough off the court. Since when did that become a prerequisite for greatness?
People will say, pay more attention to the other folks. Like, she couldn't do it herself. You know, LeBron has teammates, Jordan had teammates. I understand.
Clark is changing the game not just with her numbers, but with her approach. She's not asking for attention. She's demanding it with every possession. And the more the old guard resists, the more obvious it becomes. This isn't about her flaws. It's about their fear. Because Clark isn't just another rookie. She's a revolution in sneakers.
It almost felt like marketers were trying to figure out, like, yeah, we have all of these amazing players and these amazing personalities, but can we push the demographic? And then when Caitlin Clark got to the league, the Angel Reeses got to the league, and they might have been fouled hard. The same thing I saw happen with Shamika Holdsclaw, though.
You see my tooth knocked out?
Yeah,
Rookie season, Jewel Lloyd. My tooth knocked out. I still didn't get it.
So how do you?
It's cool.
T. Clark, how do you feel about the fact that all of a sudden it was, oh, it's too physical, oh, they're going at him because they're stars. What was your reaction to some of the new viewers and fans to the game thinking that the WNBA was too rough?
It was a crazy season because we have never had so much momentum behind our league, so much support, demand, viewership, all that, accessibility. But the craziness that came with the new fandom was rooted in something other than fandom, right? And I think that's very evident to see across the board. In a lot of ways, it has not been about basketball. Like, we can talk about, you know, people getting fouled. I just showed you my tooth getting knocked out. Like, that's been a part of the game. The game has always been physical.
There's a reason the legacy players are scrambling. It's because Clark has done in one season what the league struggled with for decades: grab the nation's attention. Kids in Iowa who didn't even know what the WNBA was are now begging their parents for Clark jerseys. Broadcasters are actually scheduling primetime games around her. And the numbers don't lie. She's the draw.
It gets blown up into, oh, they're going after Caitlin Clark, but no, we're just playing one of the best players that's in this league the way that any other best player, franchise player is going to get played. Watch how Stewie gets played. Watch how Asia gets played. Watch how Enrique gets played. Watch how Khalid gets played. Go down the list of franchise players for every team. They be getting fucked up every game. It don't matter what position you are, what color you are, what school you came out of. This is how we feed our families. Our job is to go and win, and if we don't win, what happens? We get fired. We lose our...
But what's even scarier for some is this. She's doing it without playing by their rules. She's not part of the old cliques. She's not signing up to be molded. She's not apologizing for her success. And that makes her dangerous. Because when someone refuses to play the game and still wins, that's when the gatekeepers panic. Clark's not knocking on the door. She's already inside. And she brought millions of new fans with her. While others are arguing over who deserves the spotlight, she's out here becoming the spotlight. And that's what the old guard can't stand. Because she didn't wait for permission. She took the torch and ran. So let's call it what it is. Sheryl Swoops isn't mad because Caitlin Clark is overrated. She's mad because Caitlin Clark is undeniable. You can throw all the shade you want, wear all the shirts you want, spin all the narratives you want. But the scoreboard doesn't lie. The fans don't lie. The future doesn't lie. And every single one of them is screaming one name: Clark. This isn't about disrespecting legends. It's about recognizing that a new legend is being written right now. And the numbers prove it. Clark's record-breaking rookie campaign wasn't just good. It was historic. And yet, instead of passing the torch, some are still trying to smother it. But here's the problem. They're too late. The fire's already spreading. So drop a CC for MVP in the comments if you see it too. If you're tired of the fake rivalries, the jealousy, the politics, drop that comment. Because Caitlin Clark isn't just the future of the WNBA. She is the present, and she's just getting started.